I have Patrick from BABEL with me here today. Thank you for joining us. We're just going to go over, at Patrick's request, actually, another edition of, what is this? What are we doing? I'm excited. This Week in Cardano, March 8th edition. Thank you, Patrick, for joining me today.
Thank you for inviting me.
I'm a little bit surprised at your color scheme. I noticed something in the background. Are you cribbing my style, Patrick? Are you throw some blue LEDs in the background?
Yeah, honestly, you kind of gave me the inspiration. But I have this really cool lamp which can change the colors. So I could say, Alexa, Lichtrot.
You just triggered everyone.
Alexa, Lichtrot. Now it's working.
Yeah, I think you just triggered everyone's Alexa in the audience, right? Because
yeah, I hope so.
Okay,
but most of them probably don't have this color scheme thing.
Yeah. Okay, now that's good. We got some differentiation in the backgrounds, right? But or not. If you make it blue, it actually looks like we could be in the same room together, right?
I think I should make it blue.
Yeah, that's good. Very good. Awesome. Okay, and so Patrick is one of just for those who aren't aware, he got, I think you got the IOHK delegation, right? That 3.2 million.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, 3.2 million from IOG in, like, I don't know, February, I believe.
Yeah, and that's been. Have you found, just to keep things light and ask little questions, right? Has that really helped your pool grow, do you think, or are you?
I'm not sure. So it helps me definitely get some better stats on ADA pools and all that stuff, and I've like went up the ranks quite a bit. I think that's very important because nobody looks at pool number 500, right?
Yeah.
And if you're pool number 200, then
I'm super happy that I'm into like the top 500 now because I'm stupid like that. But yeah,
the ADA pools ranking is super weird. I was like 550 until this week, actually. So yeah, and then I jumped 200 ranks up. It's really weird, but I haven't gotten a lot of other delegation, and it's really difficult because I'm super lucky. I have like 3 big whales with over 1 million delegation, right?
Okay.
But if they decide to leave, I'm just done. Like I can't sustain my pool. So I'm trying to get a lot more smaller delegation. To have like a big community of stakeholders.
That's pretty interesting. I kind of realized that thing. I've only had a few people, I think 1 or 2 left. But that you realize like the power that those whales have over your pool, right? And how kind of like nervous it can be, right? Of course, super grateful that they help make our pools possible, right? But there is value in definitely in having like hundreds of very small delegators, right? And
absolutely.
So that's cool. So I think we'll start the stream with the Reddit. Do you have this sorted by top posts for the past week already? Did you?
Not yet. Give me a second.
Okay.
Past week.
Let me see. And I think we're going to do one more thing just to make it fun for our viewers. Your chats, I think you should see them actually in the stream now, right? So we have myself, Patrick, and the subreddit on the left. If this is too congested, if you don't like it, whatever, but you guys can basically spam the what do you call it? The stream. Maybe it's not. I don't see it happening. So
it's happening.
Okay, there it goes. Yep. It's just it was slightly delayed, and then I can highlight it. Okay, great.
Very cool.
Let's continue then. So you go first, Patrick. Let me just explain quickly. Actually, the reason I wanted Patrick is Patrick is a pretty technical guy. He's I believe you're a computer science major or graduate.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And sometimes some of the things I'm not familiar with, I thought it would be really cool to get a different perspective and probably just more fun and engaging to watch 2 people interact about something rather than just one person. So I think this might be depending on Patrick's charisma, we'll have this as a recurring segment and or rotating guest host kind of thing. And if any of you are interested in taking Patrick's spot in the future, send me a message and we'll see. But I was even thinking maybe I can have up to 6 people. it might be fun just to have like in a future segment a bunch of people, right, talking.
That would be really cool. Yeah, I would love that.
So maybe we can make like a decentralized podcast or something like that, right? It does feel weird. So, anyways, go ahead, Patrick. I'm gonna sit back in the audience and have a beer now.
Okay, sure. So the first really big post on subreddit r Cardano is this mission accomplished post about the Cardano Mary protocol update, which was finally delivered, and we are all super happy about it, right? So yeah, just some hype from IOG here.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. Have you messed around? I know you have actually. I'll explain why. You've messed around with issuing tokens, right? Because I was doing some pool maintenance, and I was interacting with the command line interface to check my pool pledge, and I saw that I had 300,000 BABEL tokens, and I was like, "Oh shit, I'm rich." So can you describe that experience for people in the audience? What's it like making a token and everything like that?
Yeah, it's actually super easy. It's really cool. You just log into your command line tool and then like type some commands. I just followed the tutorial basically on the Cardano website, and then you have tokens. It took me less than 4 minutes. It costs only the transaction fees, right? So like 0.2 ADA roughly. And
I'm definitely on Team BABEL coin over the space coins. I'm sorry, but I'm rooting for that.
You're the only one.
Yeah. Well,
besides me.
Yeah. Okay. So
I really enjoy the space coin stuff as well. Honestly, it's kind of fun to see the coins. They're all useless and worthless at the moment, so it doesn't matter at all.
Did you do it using like raw like I don't know Cardano node, or did you? I've only looked at it using CN tools, which I think it makes it even easier, right? But you manually built it.
I don't use CN tools. I always do it raw. Oh, by the way, I can hear myself a little bit. Can you make me a little bit quieter?
Yeah. Is that better? Keep talking.
I think so. Yeah, this is way better. Way
okay.
Better.
I have open ear headphones, so I think they leak a little bit. Sorry, I'll consider changing my headphones over in the future. So, can you scroll down? I'll do the next one.
Yeah, sure.
This is my favorite karma farm on the this post, and also the subreddit subscriber updates, right? Cardano is now 90% decentralized with an ETA of 100% March 31st. That's in 25 days. We are moving right along. I'm pretty excited for this.
Absolutely.
This is actually good because I'm not quite sure. Do you know when there's two things that I think are not linked to this number getting to 0, which means 100% decentralized. One is it's a separate update, right? That will actually remove D as a parameter, right? So the argument I think people make is that IOHK can still take control of the system as long as D is a parameter in the protocol, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. I actually haven't thought about that. Yeah.
So that's one thing, and they plan on doing that, but it's not. All I'm saying is that when D is 0, there's still one or two things that I've heard, that I've read that might that need to happen in addition to this. So just for everyone's awareness, that's the first one. The second one is that those federated nodes, I believe they're referred to as like BFT nodes, Byzantine fault tolerant nodes, could still be online and still be doing something, but not minting blocks. And that part, that I'm not trying to spread FUD. But it's not quite clear to me what that would be. Whoever was saying that was I didn't quite understand it, but right now that the 10% of blocks that are made by those nodes, those aren't the IOHK or IOG stake pools. Those are a separate set of like centralized nodes that are just under IOHK's control, right? The IOG private pools are actually part of this 90% now, right? Because those are, even though they're owned by IOHK, they're still nodes, just like your nodes or my nodes, right? So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, next one. You got a good one.
Next one is the new head of human resources from the Cardano Foundation, Elisa Garelt, I'm guessing. Yeah, and she's from Switzerland. I can open this. Let's open this Cardano forum thing.
A lot of these Swiss people they're not necessarily Swiss, but Cardano Foundation is based in Switzerland. Are they a lot of them German speaking? Are you because you're
I think they're all German speaking, to be honest. Like most of them. I mean, I think even Frederick is definitely
Frederick. That sounds very German to me.
He's from Sweden, I believe.
Oh,
or something like that.
Do you have an interesting story to share about your internship or something, or is that private information? Or
I don't have to share that much, to be honest.
Okay.
It's also. Yeah, most of it is private. It's just very fun to watch how the Cardano.
I didn't mean to out you on air. I'm sorry, Patrick.
No, it's okay. It's just fun to watch that they're all like kind of becoming like a mini PwC. It's like the people all look very
similar, very profile. Yeah.
They're all like finance consultants from PwC. It's incredible. And
just because we have this up and you mentioned the CF, did you see that thing that there was that tweet, I think, from Charles a week or two ago about all the things that are planned for 2021? And one of them was DCF. And there was some question, what is DCF? And the thing that I was reading was DCF refers to Decentralized Cardano Foundation. Have you run into that at all, or heard anything about that? Or
I saw the same tweet, but I'm not sure what exactly it's supposed to mean, to be honest. It could be something completely different, to be honest, as far as we know. I don't know. The Cardano Foundation is just starting up, to be honest.
Yeah, it would be weird, right, for them to be taken offline. But I was wondering, because I know when Frederick first got on, that he made a kind of a little mini blitz of like every 100 subscriber YouTube channel in the Cardano space. I was very impressed by that, right? But that
was really cool. Yeah,
I haven't heard a lot since then, so I'm just wondering what's going on. But of course, this hire was pretty recent, so it's interesting. What's going on?
Yeah, I think Frederick is just talking with CEOs of big companies all the time and stuff like that. So I think he's probably doing amazing work. Honestly, you have to be very competent to become that high up in PwC Switzerland, right?
That's a good point. I'm pretty excited actually for the CF to kind of take the lead a little bit more. I think a lot of people in the community are pretty skeptical about them. Versus like, Team IOHK kind of thing. But I think it's a really interesting thing that attracted me to Cardano was this like triumvirate of Cardano Foundation, Emergo, and IOHK, right? That there's this kind of built-in checks and balances kind of system. So it's going to be interesting what they got cooking. So
yeah, absolutely. And I would love to see some more stuff from Emergo as well, to be honest. I feel like Emergo is really under the radar at the moment.
Yeah, I wonder, just to pull that up, do you mind pulling up a Pool Tool IO tab?
Sure.
And then looking at the Emergo pools, EMU or something. I'm speculating that they're not in like the best financial state. Over on the right, the ticker thing.
You're speculating they're not in the best financial state? Do you see how many pools they have?
Look at their pools and look at their pledges.
Oh, it's only 1K. Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's quite weird to me. I would think, they should issue some kind of statement. Why do Patrick and I collectively have more pledge than Emergo? Right?
That's really weird, yeah.
So this is something that's interesting to me. And what are they? How much ADA do they have in them? Can you sort by active stake? Descending. Sure. You can see like there's a couple.
They do have quite a bit. Yeah, maybe. I mean, these pools here are all private. Yeah. So A, D, C, G.
Oh yeah, they're variable. And the fee is 100. Oh,
yeah, and the stake is very high and the pledge is very low, which is super weird because
that's a pretty dumb way of doing it. Actually, yeah. Can you open one of these high pools, the 51 million or something? Because I know the IOHK pools, they get something like 60 to 70 blocks an epoch with their high pledges. I don't know if it's scroll down, you can see in the.
I'm not using Pool Tool.
Oh, I see. I think our faces are covering the thing, but
so they had 45 epochs in 200. Okay, let's skip to the recent ones. So yeah, about 40 blocks per epoch.
So if you were to look at, we don't have to do that now live, but I'm just saying, when I look at IOG pools, I see that block number is more like 60 to 70. And I don't know that that actually matters, because I think it might be like a multiplier or a coefficient someplace else, where pledge times the number of blocks you get adds into your rewards, right? But I do think that IOG pools get, quite a bit more than this. So it was just weird to me, because those private pools are new, and it doesn't seem like it's in line with it could be their investors' money. They could be doing some kind of like offline pool running, right? When last time I looked at it, there were only these 3.5% variable fee, these number sign number, rather than all these private A through whatever alphanumeric pools. So it's interesting. But
what exactly is Emergo developing besides
Yoroi?
They're doing Yoroi, right?
I can explain my understanding of what Emergo is Emergo is supposed to be like the VC arm of the three companies, right? So IOG is supposed to be engineering, Emergo is supposed to be venture capital, and Cardano Foundation is supposed to be like governance, or like Linux Foundation type thing. And they have I think they're based out of Singapore, but a lot of Japanese people. I think the CEO is Japanese. This Ken Kodama guy, Kodama Ken.
Oh yeah,
But I think it's Sebastian is like the main face that I think most people associate with Emergo, right? And I assumed that
the MVP of Emergo, definitely.
Yeah. So it's interesting what's going on there, right? Like nobody knows, at least in the community, these other people. They all know Sebastian. So I believe the idea is that kind of like a private version of Catalyst to help develop and accelerate commercial solutions in the blockchain or in the Cardano chain, but I'm not totally sure.
Are they investing in all these companies here? That's pretty impressive.
It could be.
I've never heard of any of these companies, to be honest, but like at least they're doing some stuff.
Something, so that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Back to the Reddit. Cardano power usage. Did we do this one? And other facts compared to the other top two cryptos inspired by the community. This thing is, I think there's a few. Yeah, the post right under this. Let's also bundle that together. Cardano's energy efficiency is not advertised enough. I really think one of the things that I want to do is I'd like to run one of my Cardano nodes, probably the bare metal one at home, on ARM, using like a Raspberry Pi or maybe a MacBook Mini or a Mac Mini, one of those M1 systems, right? Because I think that can go up to like 16 gigs of RAM, a little bit more future proof, but pretty cheap and super energy efficient. And I actually think this is super important, because I kind of take issue with some of the people who are like advertising their bare metal setups and running them on like 32 core Threadrippers and everything like that. Like you're kind of missing the point of Cardano, right? Like you kind of have this Neanderthal thinking of what do you call it? Like Bitcoin mining or Ethereum mining. Like you need all this like beefy hardware to do it. Like no, Cardano is not built that way. It's built and that's a design feature that we should advertise, that you can run a miner or a validator on a super limited setup, just a Raspberry Pi. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's a huge advantage to me. And I was imagining, I don't know what you think about it, Patrick, but I was imagining it'd be pretty cool if we were to get we talked a little bit about this, but like an Android app as a Cardano node, right? Another implementation of the Cardano node that could run on Android phones. And then you could just, plug that device in. It's got a built-in battery backup. It's got if it's on your Wi-Fi and it has a SIM card in it, it has a backup data plan, to hit in case your main internet goes down. And think about how easy it would be to sell like a stake pool in a box kit, right? Kind of like a ledger.
That would be amazing.
Where you send out 3 Android devices, and then they get behind some kind of dynamic DNS service or something like that, right? So that all the person has to do is turn them on, put them on Wi-Fi in 3 locations, and have like the one that they keep at their house probably be a block producer. I think that'd be a pretty cool thing. to do so. My point here is just that, yeah, you look at the terawatts of power used by Cardano, it's a tiny fraction of what these other guys are doing. So
yeah, this is
energy
incredible
efficiency.
actually. Like most people who are not really into cryptocurrencies and they just hear about Bitcoin and stuff, they take offense with this whole terawatt problem.
Yeah, I convinced one of my coworkers who's been a huge crypto skeptic to he actually bought some Cardano when I told him, that's true if you were talking about 10 years ago. And you're talking about mining, but it's not, it doesn't have to be true anymore. And it's actually, proof of stake is one of the reasons I chose to get involved in Cardano, because I remember like 10 years ago, proof of stake was like just like a rumor or like an idea on bitcointalk.org. And, Ethereum was talking about it back then, like, oh, maybe we'll do Ethereum and proof of stake or whatever kind of thing, if I recall correctly. I could be wrong, but to see that there was actually a network, because this was July of last year when I got involved, that was like switching over and transitioning to proof of stake. I'm like, I'm done. That's it. Let's go. And it was super cool. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Proof of stake is amazing. And honestly, the first time I got into contact with proof of stake was through Ripple. I think Ripple is massively underrated from their technology perspective, right? I mean, of course, they're centralized and they like build products for banks and all that stuff. So it's kind of against the point of cryptocurrencies, but from the technology standpoint, they're probably one of the absolutely best cryptocurrencies out there, and they have a lot of room to improve because they're so centralized.
What are the advantage of centralized? Like I did a little bit of work, very brief, not work. We looked into using Hyperledger for a permissioned blockchain at one of my old companies. Hyperledger is IBM's, blockchain, I don't know, library framework kind of idea system. But for most of the things that I was reading, like if you're doing a centralized system, just use a normal, like columnar database or whatever you want to do. Like, what is the advantage of having a centralized blockchain versus a traditional database?
I think you want to have you don't want to have it completely centralized. You just don't want to have it open in the public, right? You want to have like your partners, for example, if I'm Daimler,
vendor collaboration,
vendor, exactly,
supply chain management, stuff like that.
Supply chain, exactly.
Okay,
it's always this thing here. I'm from Stuttgart, right, and Daimler's here and Porsche is here, and there are so many car companies here, and they have like literally thousands of companies who bring them stuff who they need for their cars, right?
Some of my architecture friends actually went to ICD, Stuttgart Institute for Computational Design. I think it's in Stuttgart. They did their PhDs there, and it's like I'll show it to you sometime offline. They use like 6-axis robots to make crazy architectural things or whatever. But that's cool.
Yeah, architecture is big in Stuttgart. Actually, it's really
so
cool. I have a lot of architecture friends as well who study that.
That's cool. Well, you do the next one, Patrick.
Sure. So we have this one already.
And we did.
Next one is.
You can do this one and the next one because this is a little bit of both.
Okay. Okay. So the first one is just mentioning that we've gotten a lot of new subscribers to the subreddit. Like we are at 200. What's the current number? We are at 250K almost.
Yeah, we're gonna get another one of these posts probably while we're on stream, right? Yeah. It's gonna go to 250.
That's absolutely insane. I think like we stagnated for quite some time at I think 100K or 80K or something like that, and then it just exploded. And that's also the number that I'm hyped for. Like I don't really care about the price that much. It's about the users, right?
Yeah,
and about the wallets and the people that are actually engaged in the whole discussion, and that needs to be.
I think we're both huge fans of the Pieter Nierop or something, Twitter guy.
Absolutely,
I think he's Dutch guy, right, with the wallet stats and everything. I know anyone can make an arbitrary number of wallets, but I still think it's a pretty interesting kind of metric to monitor and keep an eye on and stuff like that.
I especially like the stat with the average supply of ADA in a wallet.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it was so high. It was at
Mhm.
like average was 100K or something like that.
Yeah.
And now it's at 30K, which is also still incredibly high. And if we get that down to maybe like 1K or 2K, then we're at a good level, I believe.
That's actually, I think, you know, like people, my friends and everything, who whenever they're trying to understand ADA and whatnot, I think it's actually pretty unique. Of course, IOG and Charles and those guys have pretty big bags, but for a crypto, they don't have that much, right? Compared to a lot of other co-founders, I feel, percentage-wise. I mean, of course, they're set. Patrick disagrees.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. They have a lot of crypto.
They have billions of ADA, but
yeah.
I mean, I'm familiar with some projects where like the owners have like 50% of the coin in the pre-mint.
Which project?
Oh, don't put me on the spot like that, man.
Okay.
Get back to you.
Yeah. I mean, the worst one is a Bitcoin, of course, but Satoshi is probably dead or never moving his coins, so it doesn't really matter. And like, I don't know. It feels, it always feels wrong to have like huge backholders. And if Cardano succeeds the way we want it to succeed, then Charles is going to be the richest man in the world by far.
Yeah, true. So, like, it's interesting. Never thought of it that way. Why don't you do another one? Because that was kind of
yeah, sure. Next one is pretty boring.
Yeah, we did that already too.
Yeah, we did that already. It's about the countdown to the full decentralization, right? I'm gonna do the next one as well.
Yeah,
it's from Umed, stake pool operator and hoster of some podcast. I don't know the podcast, to be honest. Fiat laughed at BTC. BTC laughed at ETH is laughing at Cardano. See a pattern. Okay, yeah. I mean, it's just some random tweets. Like, we have many of these tweets.
Yeah,
kind of shitting on other projects at the moment.
I was concerned about this tweet because when I see that, my immediate question is, you know, what is Cardano going to laugh at that's going to displace Cardano, right?
Yeah.
I wonder, maybe we could talk about that briefly. Like, I'm actually I do believe people when they say that one of the best things about or Charles when he says one of the best things about Cardano is the governance system, because I do think that if that is working, like, that's really like the key. Being able to adapt is probably like the most important thing, like in a ecosystem or like from an evolutionary perspective, right? Like, things that don't adapt die out, and the fact that Cardano has a built-in mechanism to adapt kind of makes me think we have a chance at least for a significant amount of time on a human life scale, you know, being a significant project that doesn't just get swept out by the new technology stack that comes along and that kind of thing. I wonder, you have any thoughts on that, Patrick?
Yeah, I fully agreed. I mean, the government system for me is maybe the main feature that makes Cardano unique. I mean, I know some other blockchains do have like a similar kind of governance system at the moment too.
I think they talk. Charles talks about Tezos a lot having that, but not familiar with what they're doing.
Seems very cool too. I'm just not into it, so I don't really know what the benefits of Tezos are, to be honest. But Tezos
happened while I was out.
Similar things.
It's probably unfair, I think, because Charles always talks good about Tezos, but I kind of bundled Tezos and EOS and like a lot of those like big hyped coins that were kind of between Ethereum and Cardano together, because I think like they kind of had a lot of time to do stuff and certainly a lot of money, and I just haven't seen like what's happening, what's going on. So
I actually wouldn't bundle EOS with Tezos, because EOS had like a big phase. The founder of EOS is super popular, and they had so much money. They had like millions of money. They had
Jamie Dimon or something, right? Like $4 billion, something like that.
They had more money than they have market cap right now. So
really
completely insane, yeah. And at least the last time I checked. And and Tezos, on the other hand, doesn't have like a very popular founder, and they don't have like the Charles Hoskinson. Charles was already popular before Cardano, right? Because Ethereum founder and all that hype.
Yeah.
And Tezos also didn't have that much money, as far as I know. So
okay.
I feel like they're doing good work, and they're just lacking the whole marketing thing, which is pretty good for Cardano. Like, most people say, okay, marketing in Cardano is very bad.
Yeah, but relatively speaking,
it's actually not that bad.
Yeah. Names and personalities will get a lot for you. So Charles Hoskinson isn't here to make money for you. So I think I read a little bit about this, but I think this is another like I'm sympathetic to the post in terms of what do you say? I think this post, if we read it, is just in kind of response to like the birds and everything, and that might be the following post. But I do kind of think that a little bit Charles kind of digs his own grave sometimes with like the hype trains that he builds up and the kind of memes and everything, and like yeah, we're all having fun. It doesn't really matter. Like you said, I don't really care so much about the price. I've already hit my target for like 3 years from now. Like I was hoping that in the next 3 years, ADA would go to $1, and it already has. So I'm like, what do I do now? I'm just confused. And but what I'm trying to say is that like it just like don't. What's a good analogy or a bad analogy? Like don't talk up a movie before you go see it with your friend. You know, like because anything you talk up inevitably disappoints, right? Like I took my friend to lunch today at my favorite restaurant that's nearby my house. He drew over. He had a doctor's appointment someplace else, and I didn't tell him like this is my favorite restaurant, because if I tell him it's my favorite restaurant, he's just going to be disappointed when it's not that good. You know what I mean? But like if he's not expecting anything, like it's just like I don't know. You're not so you under promise and you over deliver. I think that's like if I can give some career advice to Patrick right now, you know, always talk down what you're doing and always, you know, clear the bar by a lot.
I actually have this book that I'm currently reading, which said the exact same thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like this is not like genius business idea from Alex. Like it's just like kind of common sense. So someone as smart and as intelligent as Charles should know, and I think practice, right? Like just keep a lid on it. It's, you know, if you want to like hint at some things, fine, whatever. But like that whole red ball soon thing and now the birds thing, like it just seems
really weird,
not cool.
And it's kind of against what he's like preaching. He always says, okay, we're gonna say exactly what we are going to do, then we're going to do it, and then we're gonna talk about it. And and now he's hinting stuff that is not announced, like the red ball thing. And
what happened to that, right? Like
it's probably the stuff that he announced, and he just makes it look like it wasn't announced, and then the hype is bigger or something. That's at least my understanding, because every big announcement that came or is coming is something I already know in some way. Maybe not the details, but I know that there's an Africa deal that's gonna change 5 million people. I know that it's gonna have to do something with Atala Prism and identity, right? So
yeah, so just I mean, again, like I must have said Charles like 10 times already in this stream, right? Like I'm a big fan of Charles. It's not like I don't believe in their ability to execute eventually in vision. It's just like these are just tactical blunders, right? And then the thing that I'll last thing before we move on from here is that, you know, Charles will get angry at people in stream on the AMAs who say like who talk about price, but like it's behavior or posts like this, not this, like the soon and the bird stuff that causes that kind of price hype train to occur. So, you know, like just kind of, you can't really decouple these things and get angry at people for speculating about price, and at the same time, like cause these kind of, I don't know, interest bubbles kind of thing. So maybe he would argue that it's just like he's excited about the tech being released and the project that has a side effect of causing these price bubbles. But I think what he has to realize is that the audience, even though he's excited about the technology, when everyone else sees those things, like they're excited about the price implications, right? And so you have to realize what your actions cause in a kind of system. And
And one last thing, I really dislike these kind of posts actually, because you know, I'm a bored student in Stuttgart who's not doing nothing because everything is under lockdown. So I watch every single Charles Hoskinson video, like every AMA, every interview, all of them.
Sorry.
It's really horrible at the moment.
That's why you always watch my podcast, my streams. I thought I was a good content producer because Patrick is always messaging me.
No, I really
bored.
enjoy your No, I really enjoy your streams as well. So they're actually, I don't watch that much YouTube. I only watch Cardano stuff anymore, and you're one of the main content producers that I watch. But the thing is, so Charles is always talking about specific things. Like it's always the same, basically. If you've watched like 5 interviews, you know exactly what he's going to talk about. And something he also does very often is explain that he isn't there to make money for you. Like literally this one sentence, right? He explained it exactly that way. And then the community comes and takes this sentence and writes exactly what Charles explained in his video down as if it was something new, and like if it was something some original idea. But so let's only repeating what Charles said.
Let's get a bit meta. The reason we're having this week in our Cardano is because Patrick tweeted me asking, "Hey, what happened to this week in our Cardano?" And I wasn't going to do it because I got a little bit bored with this subreddit over the past week or 2 or 3. And I used to really love this subreddit. I'm a huge Reddit fan. I think Reddit is like, it kind of gets a bit echo chambery sometimes. And, like when you first come into it. But what I liked about it that I don't like about Twitter is that you have this opportunity for like a long form discourse. And I really don't like Twitter's 144, thank you, Nostradamus, 144 character limit and other kind of stuff like that, right? And
280.
Oh, 200. I'm so old. I'm an old man. 144 SMS limit. Thank you, Nostradamus. But the idea that you can like have a long form discourse and that people can like have a conversation back and forth, I like it. But I do think that when the sub was 60 to 80,000, like there was much more compelling content to follow. And so
absolutely,
I'm gonna plug. I recently, I think last night, made another subreddit called r/Cardano folk, which is inspired by. Are you familiar with the Free Folk subreddit?
No.
So are you familiar with Game of Thrones?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so Game of Thrones, in the Game of Thrones subreddit, there was this this drama about like talking about spoilers or something like that in the books. I'm not familiar with it, but Free Folk started up as like a rebellion to the Game of Thrones subreddit, right? Where like anything was allowed to be discussed. And I'm kind of amazed. There's 15 members. There's only my one post here right now. But I don't like to fragment the community at all. But I do think the reason why I wanted to make this is I actually think the way the Cardano subreddit is set up is flawed. It's because that subreddit is apparently like owned by the Cardano Foundation. Right. And so if you look at the moderation team, they're all community ambassadors and Cardano Foundation people, almost all. Right. If we go Emergo people, IOHK possibly. But what I want to get at is like, it's very weird to me that an online community on Reddit is run by the official accounts of the thing. Right. Like, I don't think r/Nike has anything to do with Nike. Do you know what I mean? I'm just guessing that there's probably an r/Nike. Like most online communities that I'm a part of that are like fan bases on Reddit, they're okay. This is not a real subreddit that people do, right? But what I'm trying to say is
160K members. I think it's a real subreddit,
right? Yeah. So, but my point is that like I'm used to things on Reddit being like community run, and the fact that the Cardano Foundation is running this, I think, causes 2 weird things. One is you can't talk about stake pools on the subreddit, which I think is flawed because it's dumb. And 2, I don't think you can talk about Project Catalyst proposals on the subreddit, which is like kind of like a glaring I believe it falls into the same idea that on the Cardano Foundation. Yeah, that I mean,
that's the weirdest thing I've ever heard. That's so
do you notice any Project Catalyst discussion on here? No. Right? No, right? I think that's a side effect that you're not supposed to, like, because it's a Cardano Foundation forum, you should not be, how do you say, plugging something you have a financial benefit from on one of their official media sites, right? The same thinking as the stake pool operator. But that to me is really flawed because, one, stake pools that are trying to do something different, which I include myself as part of, and I would include like a smog pool and Pegasus. People are trying to build tools for the community. I think there's a big difference. My opinion is I do not like I don't like the Cardano stake pool Reddit, because it's just blatant advertising. Like, join my pool, join my pool.
It's only about stake pools. There are only stake pool operators in the group, and it's totally useless.
It's just about stake pools. But what I do think would be valid is if you're doing something that is valuable to other people, to say, if you like this, please consider staking with XYZ or whatever, right? Not like as the top line thing, but like some little snippet at the bottom. And I didn't do anything until for the stake pool thing, because it's kind of like minor and doesn't really matter. But I actually thought, like, more recently with some of the stuff that was happening with like deleting some posts, and also the fact that Project Catalyst can't be discussed here, to me, that's like a glaring weakness. And what I really want to happen is the Cardano Foundation to give control of this subreddit, of the r/Cardano subreddit, to the community, and to step away from it, and to make their own Cardano Foundation subreddit, right? That they can field official questions on, because I do think Cardano is actually even larger than the Cardano Foundation, IOHK, and Emergo. Like, I consider Cardano to be ours, and I don't appreciate this kind of like bottle cap that's on top of what I consider to be very important things for the community to discuss, much more so than, like, as you're saying, like, just repeating whatever Charles said, or saying I bought my first ADA, or saying, I got staked, like, these are a lot of happy, feel good posts, but I can't quite put my finger on it, but like, I'm just not really interested in the subreddit anymore. I appreciate that what I think doesn't really matter. Like, there's obviously an audience for this, and I'm glad that new people are getting excited and going in. But yeah, so yeah, why don't you take the next one? I was talking for a long time. Next couple ones you take.
Yeah, so next one, crypto advice for new embracers. Yeah, I mean, just basic advice. I always like that they're like, welcome, I sincerely mean that.
Yeah,
stuff like that. Cardano, like the Cardano OGs really try to make this a very inclusive and very nice environment. And I always see this on Twitter as well. There are some random new people on Twitter. Like, there was this one guy who has like 50K followers, and he beefed against all the Cardano OGs basically, and even against me, and he has like really weird opinions.
Well, that's where he crossed the line. He can mess with Cardano OGs, but you don't mess with Patrick, okay?
Yeah, and I even sent him some BABEL coins actually, and and like there are many people going to come into the ecosystem which are not the way we currently have. We like not Cardano OGs basically, and well, yeah, you have 100 subscribers now.
Yeah, crazy. Thank you so much. Yeah. Now I can retire. I'm done. YouTube ad revenue, let's go. It's because Patrick came on my channel. That must be it.
Of course, yeah. It's only
okay, Patrick, you do this post.
I only have like 100 subscribers too, so
there you go.
Close, yeah. Birds are gone. There were 2 massive news events promised in February. Big news with liquidity, big news with respect to Africa project. Yeah, Africa project got delayed. Happens. I don't know. It's gonna come soon. Big news with liquidity. I'm not sure what exactly that
is. That liquidity like with the W? Is that what that meant?
No. That's not what it meant. It's something about I think it's something about Charles setting up either a bigger catalyst round or a private investment from IOG. IOG announced something with a private investment, or he hinted at least something. So
and all those what was it, the like 4-character alphanumeric pools that had a bunch of 64 million ADA pledged into them. Did you see that? No. There was something like 8 to 10 pools that were made that have random characters, and like the wallets were set up. I don't know if they were actually made or pledged or whatever.
Yeah, actually, that might be part of it. I don't know. Yeah, someone bought a lot of ADA. Some
institution, that 7D, the like some Emirates or Middle Eastern countries like sovereign wealth fund sold $1 billion or 750 million Bitcoin and bought Polkadot and Cardano. And I was just reading an update on this today. That guy was doing another interview, and not financial advice. He was saying that they're targeting $20 ADA in 3 years and like $700 Polkadot in the same time frame. And that, I mean, that was kind of fun for me because, like I said, like I don't have any dreams in Cardano anymore. Like the price that I wanted to achieve is here. So like I'm wondering like what should be my my goal or my ambition in with respect to price, right? I have other tech stuff I'm interested in doing, but where do we see that going? And it was just fun to see like a new goalpost, not from a YouTuber, honestly, right? Because the YouTubers, I don't take anything. What were you gonna say, Patrick?
Honestly, the goal is to become #1 cryptocurrency, right?
Yeah, yeah. I do. Well, that's one thing I agree with Rick on. Yeah.
I mean, at least #1 used cryptocurrency, and
there were a few days where we overtook Ethereum in terms of market volume, not market volume, transaction volume. I mean, no.
Okay. I see. Yeah, that's very cool, definitely. Yeah. And I mean, it makes sense because Ethereum is just unusable. It's so bad. But like at least second place up in the CoinMarketCap ranking would be very cool to see. Yeah, that Cardano is actually better, and it's not just all talk.
For me, even flipping Tether, right? Being able to say that the third largest crypto, I think for the crypto space, that the third largest crypto was a real crypto and not a stable coin, like that in itself, forget about Cardano for a second. That's a good thing for the crypto space. I feel that, if there's one thing we can all learn from Doge, I am a big fan of 1 ADA equals 1 ADA, right? I think that the Doge meme is 1 Doge equals 1 Doge, right? And you keep going. I'm going to keep reacting because you have a better reading voice than me. I'm also just
I'm not I'm not sure about that. Sometimes it's so hard. Sometimes I'm thinking about words in German and then I like don't find the English. Wow, that's
yeah, right. I know. I'm a good German.
Okay, so next one is again about efficiency. Ethereum is 155k times less energy efficient than Cardano. A friend of mine posted my study on Twitter and it went viral-ish. Okay,
this is actually by DeFi Authority. He's the Artano.
He's Artano. Oh,
yeah. The NFT, so that's kind of cool. There was a time in my head. I believe he's based out of the EU. I won't say where to preserve some privacy for him too, but where I kept mixing up him and you when we were first chatting online because these pale skinned German dudes, they all look the same to me, but I don't think he's actually German.
This is not viral, but okay.
What
I still like
17 likes.
I'm gonna retweet this and make this.
Make this go.
I like Artano as well.
I made that bitch famous.
You probably haven't watched the AMA with Charles yesterday, but I did because I'm a boy.
Because you're better than me. Yeah.
But he actually talked about Artano.
Artano. I saw that call out.
Yeah, really cool. And they had a meeting. Yeah, and I'm not quite sure, but I think he has a proposal in the Fund 4, right?
Artano does again for another round or something.
I think so. Yeah.
I think they're voting on this right now, right? With Fund 3. So shout out to Artano and their Project Catalyst proposal.
No, it's really annoying. It's very annoying to me that the whole Cardano fund thing isn't being discussed more. To be honest, it's like,
well, now you know why, right? It's you're not allowed to discuss it on the subreddit.
That's horrible. That's the worst thing. And I'm always doing these videos where I react to every single fund proposal, right? Because I think it's super interesting. I want to know all of the proposals.
I couldn't believe that they paid $12,000 for Idea Scale at minimum. I watched your video about the governance, right? And like, there's just so much like weird UI UX that it just looks bad to me. Like, forget about.
Yeah.
I agree with what your takeaway was. Like, maybe Cardano isn't using it effectively or how it's meant to be, right? But like it's just overload on overload on overload. And the weird thing is, it's like I remember being afraid of staking before I started my own stake pool, because it was just like I didn't understand like what was at stake. Sorry, no pun intended. Like, could I lose my ADA? Could I get slashed or that kind of thing, and all that stuff. I like educated myself. But the distinction I want to make here is like, once you understand staking on Cardano, it makes sense and it's easy, and it's like, oh, that's yeah, of course. But I don't see that learning curve on idea scale in Cardano. Like, I'm constantly fighting the navigation of the website, just trying to like find proposals, and like there's no like top level domain you can go to and then like see this fund and then this thing and then this thing and branch, and there's too many categories, and like I said, like it's just weird to me. I don't know.
I agree. I think it's a horrible webpage. And
I want to replace it with Reddit. I think we should just run project
no
Catalyst on subreddits. Yeah.
please no.
Upvotes. We'll have great memes on Project Catalyst.
Maybe we should just put in a proposal to develop our own idea for 100K.
Yeah, no, that'd be good. How would just to be serious for a bit, and you can pull out your little Surface tablet if you want to. Like, what would a good crap? What do you think would be a good redesign for Project Catalyst? Like, where would you start, and what would be the main thing to do? Or maybe I don't have any ideas. It's easy to criticize, but is there anything we could model it off of?
To open it really quickly. I'm not sure, to be honest. I think the whole voting process should be upgraded a lot. I really dislike the voting app in particular because
I haven't interacted with the voting app yet.
Yeah, it has like really weird stuff. Like, for example, when you click on a proposal to see the details and then you go back, you start at the top again and you have to scroll all the way down. And like all these proposals are
like F4 DApp integrations. So like 3 clicks to get back to looking at DApp integration proposals.
Yeah, no, not really. Like, when you see all the proposals for one category and then you click on the details for one specific proposal and then you read the details and then you go back one step with your Android phone, I don't know how it's in iPhone, then you're back at the top of all the proposals in that one category, which is kind of annoying because you have to scroll down for 50 proposals.
Because there's like 100, so many proposals. And
and it feels very much like a badly
Do you vote on each proposal individually, or do you get like a ballot and you just say yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no to everything?
No,
you have to enter into every.
Yeah, you vote on every proposal individually, and that's very annoying as well. When I voted this one time in Fund 2, I believe, I literally voted through all of them. Like, I scrolled through all of them, voted for everyone, and that's not something that regular people are going to do.
What do you think about? It seems like the Nostradamus is saying, I'll just throw it up, that everything I was using is centralized platforms. Catalyst should be decatalyst. I'm imagining you could have a website here that you basically registered your votes on, and it basically made you like a JSON that you would submit as transaction metadata, right?
Exactly.
And then like if you just did that within the 1 week window, right? What I think we would do to compile the votes would just be to scan the last transaction metadata that was submitted for each staking address and use that to aggregate the votes, right? And then the front end wouldn't need to be linked with the Daedalus wallet. It wouldn't need to be anything, right? Like, you're just using the metadata on chain to register your vote, which I think some stake pools have actually done, like Spokra and stuff like that, right? To do some kind of on-chain voting, right? That seems like maybe a simpler way of doing it. And then the website is just a JSON generator, basically, right? Like your vote.
It's just a client that everyone can use, and we would have multiple clients. We could have like clients which focus on one specific topic, and then if you're interested in that, you can go up there, and they have like very nice user design or design, basically. I would love that, and I hope that's the way it's going to go. I've been trying to get Charles to comment on this in the AMAs. I've posted
gave
the same
up on
question like
commenting
15
on the
times.
AMAs. One thing
so
I wish
bad.
Charles would do is like put some moderation on and like make it so you can only send a question every minute or every 5 minutes, because it's so useless. Like I did the same thing once or twice. You just copying and pasting. It's such a dumb system. Like I don't know what it is other than like ego stroking to feel like a ton of people are trying to talk to you and want to talk to you, but like it's not a well-designed system. And I think there's a YouTube tool to enable like some kind of moderation, right? Where you there's a timeout or something like that, right? But it's just silly the way the chat just zooms by, and it's just like whatever.
Yeah, it's really weird, and yeah, like he doesn't comment on it. I also think he probably doesn't want to comment on idea scale, even though he may
he has a vendor relationship, and
exactly.
they're paying for it. That could make conversations awkward when they're they're negotiating with them.
And they're actually like the app is evolving at least a little bit. So they added some new features. It's gotten a lot better than the last iteration. So they definitely have like a vendor relationship.
Yeah, but of course,
I hope they're
the client, right?
Hope they
not
don't
a big
use
fan.
it for full wheelchair.
Are you planning on ever doing a proposal on Catalyst, Patrick? What are you?
I want to do one for Fund 5 or Fund 6.
Okay. What are you thinking about?
So multiple things actually. So actually a few days ago I decided with some of my friends to start a company, and we're going to try this whole this whole decentralized insurance thing.
What?
So like it's huge, and we decided on a very short notice. Actually we wanted to do some stuff with VR. We had some ideas and we debated for months, and then we found out one day before we had to register for our basically incubator at my university that the idea is already being done, and it's not only being done, it's also being funded by the same incubator.
That kind of
tossed it. And
Patrick, I want, can you open Fund 4 dApps and integrations for a second?
Sure.
This is not our Cardano, but we've been doing that for an hour, so I feel like there's probably no one watching anyways. And just talk to you about this. Browse ideas. There's actually a button here. I found this. Wait. I'm going to teach you something. See the purple F4? No. Go there too, but go back up. It's actually next to that eyeball, next to subscribe to campaign. Browse ideas. There's two gray buttons.
Oh yeah.
So I think you can click this, and that kind of gets you into that. And now
I always press this popular button.
That's the same, I saw that. And then scroll down, look for Monad, I think, or Alex. I don't know. Control F. I don't know if you'll see it. This is such a fun thing to look for. You probably have to scroll through everything first and then look for it.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know if I'm under Monad here. It might be under Alex.
Try
or Decentralized, I think is.
I think I follow you.
Really? So there, I have two proposals. One is decentralization 8. Yeah, this is the one I want. Can you click this for a second? You mind reading a problem statement? I haven't made a video on this one yet. I made a video for the other one, but yeah.
You actually submitted a proposal for
something. Yeah, what? What? So let me pitch to you, okay? Because I'm working on this idea, and I might have some investors in Japan interested in it. And I was shopping around. I lived in India for 3 years, so I have some contacts with a lot of Indian outsourcing firms. But the issue that I'm finding is most of them have no interest or desire or ability to do functional programming. And I at least maybe some Clojure or Elm, something like that, experience to get into Marlowe and Plutus, right? Even if it's not Haskell. But so the basic idea here is that insurance is like a basic financial service, right? Like, and everyone's like humping DeFi, but like insurance is kind of critical to like any kind of modern business or life, right? And the idea that I had was I've done a little bit more research on it since I wrote this proposal, but the whole claim verification process is very expensive and irrelevant. Or could be irrelevant, I think. And so, what do I mean by that? Is I don't know. Do you drive in Germany, Patrick?
Not yet.
Yeah. Well, if you get in a car, I hope you never get in an accident. But if you do, and you have to go through the verification process, right? Like it's such a slow thing. Like you take your car to a shop to get repaired. The insurance company has to send out an auditor to like inspect the car and make sure that it's actually damaged and blah, blah, blah. And like that whole thing. And my basic idea was, what if instead of insuring against damages, you insured against events? And so what does that mean? Like the whole model with auto insurance. Now, let's say we're talking about housing, right? I just bought a house. Let's say I have a homeowner's insurance policy for the value of my house, right? And the same shit happens. If there's an earthquake or a fire, the insurance company has to send someone out to my house to visit to verify that the damage occurred, right? But my idea was, what if we used oracles, right? Linked up to the Japanese Seismological Agency, right? Or the hurricane tracking agency, right? And rather than insuring my house for the value that it is, what if I insured against an event of a magnitude 8 earthquake happening within 150 kilometers of Tokyo, right? And so the premium
makes a lot of sense, because you can. I get where you're coming from. You can basically prove that this event really happened very easily.
And the price for this contract is totally just done through an actuarial table where what is the percent chance of that thing happening, yes or no, over the time frame that you're paying for the policy for. And then the issue is, how do you trust the oracles, right? But I think it has potential to be a hugely, how do you say, less friction and faster claim resolution process. And then while doing some research on this, somebody actually reached out to me thanks to Project Catalyst, so I can't shit on it too much. And they're an insurance person, and he taught me about this thing called Parametric Insurance, which is this. Google that, which is basically exactly what I talked about, and it made me really happy that this exists. That basically, what do you call it? It's just trigger-based insurance, right? And rather than,
that's so cool,
right? And
I've never heard of that.
I didn't either.
So much sense,
right? But you do this, right? Doesn't it just make so much more sense, right? And so you do it this way, and then what happens is, what do you say? Especially with the reason I was happy, even though it already exists, is they're all doing it from a traditional corporate perspective still, where there's like a Swiss insurance company underwriting the contract. And my idea is, let's make a decentralized marketplace where I seek insurance against this event happening, and maybe 100 people collectively bid on that policy, either for 100% of it or for a piece of it, right? And then I get the best insurance price possible because there's transparent, open competition. It's resolves within hours of an event happening, of it being posted to the Oracle, right? And you just move along. So I don't know what you guys are doing. If there's any, if you can just take the idea and run with it. But I am kind of working on it, and I am interested in.
That's awesome. I actually didn't know that you're doing this. I'm currently recording the video about all the apps, but I haven't gotten to this one yet. So.
Okay. So I mean, this is pretty
rough.
rough.
Read through it and think about it, because this is really cool. And it's all super rough. And insurance is a very difficult topic. There's so many things being done. There are already like big insurance.
For sure.
Things.
I think technically I wouldn't really call this insurance so much as like a contract between one and multiple individuals to pay out, because insurance has all these kind of legalities and regulations around it. But one of the beautiful things to me in America, for example, even if you live in a different state, there's different regulatory structures around insurance, right? So I'm not actually pitching for this to actually fulfill any legal requirements for insurance, right? Like you're required to have car insurance.
It's basically just a marketplace, right?
Yeah, it's just a marketplace. Yeah. It's just like Airbnb or Uber. We don't actually underwrite any. It's an insurance company without any insurance contracts, right? They just take a small percentage for the transactions happening between other people, and people, either pension funds or individuals who are seeking yields, can bid on insurance programs, and it's really just a prediction market. Basically, it's a betting prediction market, but aimed at like insurance. And so,
yeah,
I
it's
think
a
that's
very interesting idea. We went about it from a little bit different perspective. To be honest, we're trying to do like real decentralized insurance, basically completely removing the insurance company. So yeah, that you have like multiple people from multiple countries. That's the main thing, that's global, right? Because then you can spread the risk. If there's an earthquake in Japan, then we like the other people would have to pay for the earthquake, and it's not very likely that there are many earthquakes at the same time everywhere. And
that actually comes into my thinking that I haven't put in this proposal, where like one of my ideas was if let's say you and I are entering into a contract together, right? Like I learned about this idea, counterparty risk, right? Like let's say you pay me $100 for insurance against your dorm room burning down or whatever, right? And I'm on the hook now for, let's say, $10,000, right? My thinking right now is we would actually have to lock those funds into escrow, my $10,000, to ensure that your $100 was not wasted, right? Because like you paid for your $100 and I shouldn't be able to walk away or go bankrupt, right? And not be able to pay you $10,000, right? So I have to basically prepay in case your policy is activated, right?
Yeah.
But the economics of insurance, I think, don't allow for that kind of one-to-one relationship of my capital being deployed against each thing. So what I was kind of thinking is maybe there's actually this idea in the smart contract of a maximum leverage ratio that, like, I would actually make an insurance contract and put like $1 million into it. And I would say the maximum leverage that this contract can do is like 1 to 20. And exactly what you were saying.
I thought about the same thing, that there has to be like a maximum where if the contract doesn't have any more money, then you're just out of luck.
Just to give away all the ideas, because that's what I believe in, exactly what you were saying. I was thinking, especially when you start thinking about earthquakes in Japan, like if they don't have one-to-one leverage, it's very likely that they will go under when an earthquake hits Tokyo and all their policies are due, right? So one thing I was thinking is that, well, maybe we can build into it, because in my idea, at least for like disaster related thing, every contract has a latitude, longitude tied to it, right? And maybe an event type like earthquake or hurricane or whatever, that you can leverage up to a certain ratio, but you cannot concentrate your leverage in one geography or one event type, right? So I can make a contract for earthquakes, and then I can sell, even though I only have $1 million, maybe I sell $1 million of earthquake coverage in Japan and $1 million of hurricane coverage in El Salvador, right? And the idea there is that it's unlikely that a hurricane will strike at the same time as an earthquake does. And tied into that, I think people who are paying premiums, they're only paying every day as the contract is being used, right? So I prepay for, even though the contract might be live for a year, right? I pay per day in case someone in front of me bankrupts the smart contract, right? Then I can just find another premium insurance provider for the other days of the year that are left in this year, because my $1,000 hasn't all been used by or taken and run away with. Maybe I've had insurance for the past half a year, so $500 is gone, but I still have $500 to basically go seek a new insurance policy with. So if the payments are incrementally over time, and the payouts or the insurers cannot be over leveraged in a locality or event type, I think it could work. So that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Cool.
Yeah, I like that. I think it's very cool that you're working on insurance, and
Even if you're my competitor in the future, I wish you luck, Patrick.
I'm kind of annoyed about that too, because I thought I was one of the first people to do insurance on Cardano, and that's why I'm pushing it right now. We want to get it out for Fund 5,
It's about time for the Germans to copy the Japanese, because we were doing it to the Germans for a long time with Nikon and Canon and the car industry. So
there are quite a few DeFi insurance companies from Germany already.
Interesting.
I don't even this one DeFi Prime.
Oh yeah.
There are many. I've been looking at many of these. I have to get really deep into insurance. We only just started, and we, as I mentioned, registered for this incubator thing at my university, and then we're going to either get funding from Catalyst, that would be the ideal case basically, and or we get funding from the German state, or at least we're gonna try to do that. And,
cool.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So you would be looking at real insurance, like that legally fulfills an obligation of insurance rather than
I mean, I want to put off the legal thing as much as possible, because I want to make it so decentralized and so protocol driven that basically I can say, okay, yeah, it's just a protocol, it's working exactly like this, and we are out of
not even a platform, but a protocol, like a lower level.
Like basically like a marketplace for different insurance policies, where you could go on and then say, okay, I want to get insured for this one thing, and then you would have like multiple people from around the world insure for this one thing, and then maybe like even like micro insurance stuff. So I'm thinking about Africa and all that stuff, because I love doing stuff for them. And
how are you going to handle the verification? What do you think about verification? Because that's actually a benefit that I read about this, right?
Yeah. So I'm not...
Go ahead.
Yeah. You can.
No, Pat. I was talking a lot. I want to hear you talk.
Okay. Yeah. I'm not sure yet. That's something that we'll have to figure out. That's like we only just started, but I'm thinking about basically having a system where people vote on stuff, and there has to be some sort of incentive for people to actually vote on the proposed insurance cases. So like maybe payout or something, or maybe you have to do it to be insured, something like that. And they're also like you can implement many different ideas into this, so to verify that it's really an insurance case. So for example, if there's someone who always votes negatively, he would be flagged by the system, and then like other people have to check.
But you're like, people would like, if I'm getting health insurance, you would like take a photo of your broken arm and say, I have a broken arm, and blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
stuff like that.
Or maybe something like you would
take a picture of the invoices and bills, and
take a picture of the invoices. Yeah.
Interesting.
So stuff like that, basically.
One thing that I thought was really interesting, especially given Cardano's interest, is people talk about, especially like, are you familiar with agricultural insurance for farmers?
Yeah, I am.
Right, like like crop failures or pests.
Yeah, that's one of the most interesting things.
So this idea, this parametric insurance, is apparently really cool for that, because usually there's like a minimum cost of writing an insurance policy to someone, and that prevents you from doing a lot of like low cost coverage, because your overheads for managing a policy are too high to make it interesting to underwrite like a $100 policy. You get what I'm saying? Like if I'm a small farmer in Africa and my total crop yield is like $500, selling an insurance policy against $500 of insurance, I can't make money on that, because the costs involved in managing it are much higher than the margins, right? So one of the things that this allows is, especially in the farming space, you basically offer insurance against like millimeters of rainfall in the year.
Yeah.
Right. Or some kind of cloud of locusts descending on the thing, whatever. Right. And
I like the event-driven insurance that you mentioned. I think that's super interesting. I haven't really looked into it. I just heard about it, but it makes a lot of sense, and we have to investigate, because there are many ideas in insurance.
Yeah. So but the verification gets so much simpler from a blockchain perspective, because you're not like sending people out or uploading documents, right? Like, you do still have this question of trusting these Oracle pools, right? That like they're reporting accurately the amounts of rain and that kind of thing. But I think it's a very interesting idea. And do you want to get back to the Reddit stuff, or you want to close it out? I think we've been streaming for an hour and 15 minutes, so it's totally your call.
Yeah, let's do some more Reddit
quick
stuff.
more Reddit stuff. People are disappointed.
You have to go to bed.
Oh yeah. We'll do one or two more, a couple
early,
more.
right?
If anyone has any questions in the chat, please feel free to throw them up. We'll get to them. If any, I think there's like a tiny fraction of an audience watching still.
Warren actually asked about the Exodus wallet.
Oh yeah.
Really quickly. They
up.
do have a stake pool, and you can't stake on any other pool via Exodus. So that's why I hate people using Exodus that much. I know so many people who actually use Exodus because they just want to have all their crypto in one space, right?
It's one of those multi-crypto wallet kind of things. I see.
But Exodus is profiting a lot.
Yeah. High fees and whatnot.
Yeah. Okay. Cardano now available on Binance Australia. Awesome. Cardano, reminder that Cardano actually is still a work in progress, and Alonso was always the big one.
I think Alonso is when smart contracts are being implemented, right? And so that's what everyone was excited for. You know, we keep saying, Charles keeps saying that Goguen is a rolling release kind of incremental feature kind of thing. But when Alonso launches, do we have any idea of the time frame for that? Q2 is the target?
It's April.
April? Really? That soon?
Yeah.
That's going to be crazy.
Charles said Alonso is going to come in April, and that's the time frame. I'm guessing it's going to be like late April, like probably
31st 11:59 p.m. April. Yeah, but that's gonna be crazy, you know. Like, just to be clear, for my proposal, it requires Alonso to be live, right? Like, there's
of course.
Not real, I mean, I can play around with it up until that point.
All of these
stuff, right?
It's Alonso is gonna be super important. I'm very, very excited for that.
Get hyped.
Yeah. There's no shame in staking 100 ADA.
This is another. I'm gonna actually. This is Artano again. It looks like he's karma farming now. This is like a very kind of typical, like, feel good kind of post, whatever. So, but he just started a pool, so he's got like 50,000 ADA in it. We'll let him slide.
Is he mentioning his pool here?
I don't think so. He's going viral now, right? He's having a fun time getting like 700 upvotes on Reddit. More scammer posts. We can skip this one.
Yeah,
it's like dumb stuff.
Cardano Google searches all-time high. Yeah, that's really cool as well.
You want to open? There might be a graph in here. I'm just curious. Yeah. Boom. So what I wanted to see is the last peak in Cardano versus this one. It looks like we have surpassed the all-time high. We can draw some technical analysis arrows on this chart.
I hate technical analysis so much.
You don't like pastels and pretty colors on charts? Why are you such a hater, Patrick?
Yeah, I don't know.
More scamming posts. Yoroi needs a dark mode. It was funny. I was doing this. I don't know if he's watching now, but who's this guy? Cast.live. He has another Cardano podcast. I was doing the subreddit review, and I didn't have dark mode activated in Reddit, and he was complaining about it, and I just realized, oh yeah, because I wasn't logged into Reddit, it didn't save my preferences. But dark mode is probably the best thing to happen to computers in like the past 10 years. What do you think about NFTs? Let's have that chat.
I think NFTs are kind of overhyped. I think it's.
I don't get it. I really don't get it. I retweeted a Charlie Lee post, right, where he talked about, like, let me see if I can find that. I'll send it to you. Just open my Twitter and look at my, like, I don't know where you see that profile or tweets. If you can Control F Charlie Lee or Charlie. This one. Yep. Let's click that.
An NFT is a digital certificate to collectible that can be easily, cheaply, and perfectly duplicated. Yeah, exactly. Imagine if we have a technology that can perfectly clone a piece of artwork to the last detail where it's indistinguishable to the original, even by experts. Yeah. Okay. So he's talking about how we can duplicate the NFTs.
So this is the thing. This is number 4. What if there's a certificate of authenticity, let's say signed by Da Vinci himself, and the certificate cannot be duplicated or even counterfeited, unlike the artwork? That is the NFT. how much is this NFT or certificate of authenticity worth? Right? Like you're paying for this. I'm not undermining it, but I don't understand why. Like I would never pay for that. I would pay for access to the JPEG or the PNG of like a piece of art that I liked, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So that I could enjoy it.
I think you need to combine the NFT somehow with a DRM system. That's like with a access system somehow.
Yeah,
that would be the game changer, like for software or something. If you can sell NFTs for software certificates, that would be
I think
amazing.
we actually talked about this on stream a little while ago. I think that the real thing, exactly what you said, NFT is really, to my mind, like going to replace Spotify or all these streaming services where like, you know, the license holder can be paid out directly for like there's this weird problem that I was doing some weird research into like how to like make a YouTube channel, and I came across this guy called Alpha Gaming who like, you know, gives you streaming setup reviews and stuff like this camera and these lights and different like how to use OBS, stuff like that. And he made an entire business about like royalty free music, because the problem was streamers are always getting like DRM takedown, or not DRM, DMCA takedown notices, right? Where like their videos are getting claimed because they were playing music in the background. So his idea was to make, he just hired a bunch of people on Fiverr. He made like 500 albums worth, or 500 songs, I forget, worth of like random generic rock and roll and like rap and EDM. And people can stream that on Spotify as much as they want, and he guarantees not to claim it, right? Yeah. And the interesting thing is he gets paid. He makes a couple $100,000 a month or something from Spotify's license fees, because a normal artist who had, let's say you like, I don't know, what's a band you like, Patrick?
Daft Punk.
Daft Punk, yeah. you'll maybe listen to Daft Punk like 12 to 30 times a month, maybe, right?
Yeah.
No, more than that. But
I don't know. It depends on the month.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. During finals, probably a bit more. Daft Punk is very good studying music, I think. But these streamers will stream like his stuff like 6,000 times a month, because they're just playing. They're online a long time, and they're just playing it on loop, right? And so he gets so much money from that. What I'm trying to get at here, and why I think it relates to NFTs, is like there's no way for a YouTuber to negotiate a record or a licensing deal with Sony or with Columbia Records or, you know, any of those big music players, right? Like, even if not that I would do this, but let's say I'm like a channel with a couple 100,000 subscribers or millions of subscribers, like they don't have the time of day to license their music to me, right? And it's kind of like the insurance thing we just talked about. There's an interesting thing where people with small audience can license professional music if that music was done in an NFT system, because there's this built-in notion that, you know, I can pay you a fraction of a penny every time someone streams my thing that has your thing in it, right? And I think that
it makes so much sense.
That to me is quite exciting. I'd like to do something like that after the insurance deal, but I think the insurance one is slightly easier to do, so that's why I started there.
I'm very interested in if you get the funding, and I hope you do.
Yeah, I mean, it's an open offer. Like I said, I think I would be, if I do it in India, I'm mostly the one who is familiar with functional programming and you know, Plutus Marlowe type stuff. But I would like to. It would be really cool to work on it with someone in the Cardano community. And you know, I think I like you. I think I like you. I'm pretty sure I like you. So it would be fun, especially since you're kind of in this space. So just keep an open mind to it, right? And
of course,
like I said, I might have some additional outside funding that would. I asked for $50,000 to do like the initial stuff that I'm talking about, but I think we could get more than that even, and so it would be pretty interesting if I could tell my investor that we have a dev team and some other stuff potentially set up. I think they'd be pretty interesting. We
could even collab. Like the people that I'm starting this company with are pretty good at like design stuff. So cool things that I'm not good at.
Nice.
And I think that's something which is very missing in Cardano at the moment. Design is not our strong suit, and in crypto in general. All right, you are.
Originally,
and you have a very nice website as well. But
oh yeah, I did. I did pay a lot
website.
of. I did pay a lot of money for that theme, but at least I have an eye for what is good design, and I don't have my dog or something on there. So yeah.
Okay, I just want to complain about this post real quickly.
Okay.
Because it's an NFT, but it's not on ADA. It's not on Cardano. It's like very certainly running on Ethereum, right?
Is it? That's kind of silly. Yeah. To me, this is kind of like that. That's kind of like all these coins that have like an ADA logo stamped on it, and they're like, I can't wait to get my first ADA coin. Like, no, that's a piece of silver with a logo on it. Like, that's not ADA. It has nothing to do with ADA. Right?
Yeah, I would love if they have like a key somewhere imprinted for.
Right. Like
that would be amazing. So cool. Yeah,
you could like open it up and you'd have that kind of thing, but no, they're just it's silver bullion with a stamp on it, right? That's so silly.
But I also have one of these coins, to be honest. I have a Bitcoin one, so
but this is slightly better. A Cardano NFT that's not on Cardano but on Ethereum. Like that's a huge. If I was Ethereum, I would use that as an advertisement, like knocking Cardano, right?
I agree. I would too.
I'm going to comment on this one. I agree with this.
Me too.
I don't follow other cryptos. I have no crypto diversification. I'm all in ADA, and every month I put like 20 to 30% of my personal income after tax into more ADA. I don't know if I'll continue doing that with the recent price appreciation of ADA. I told myself that as long as it's under $1.38, which is the previous all-time high, I'll keep accumulating. So if we stay where we're at for another, this is the only time I talk about price is when I'm looking at buying, but I think we're at like $1.10 or something like that last time I checked.
Oh no, we went from place 3 to place 5.
Yeah, that happens, but we're down quite a bit from where we were when we were at what, like $1.48 or something like that.
Yeah, of course.
And so I mean I hope it stays here for another 7 days when I get my paycheck and I can put another chunk of money in, and then I'm worried like that might be my last ADA purchase in the foreseeable future, because I like, even though I'm very bullish on it long term, like it just feels weird to me. Like I used to get 10,000 ADA or something like that for like putting a chunk of change down, and now I'm getting like 1,500 or something like that, 2,000 ADA, and it's like, oh, why didn't I load up more? But I guess that's everyone.
Same. I mean, I bought ADA at 3 cents, so.
So I wanted to ask you sometime for Patrick, like, why are you still in school at this point? Like, if I was you and I had a stake pool, like I'd be dropping out right now. I'd be, you know what I mean? Like,
I'm only writing my bachelor thesis.
Okay.
It's about Cardano, so.
Okay. So are you like not to be crude, like swinging your dick around on campus? Like, my bachelor thesis made me like 100,000 euros so far, and what the fuck? Like, your professor giving you feedback, you're like, I don't care. Like, I'm on the moon, motherfucker.
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, I've made so much money with Cardano. It's like super weird, because when I look in my bank account, I have like 300 euro or something, and then I look in my app and I have so much, and
that it's just quite funny.
But I'm also aware that it could drop.
Yeah,
down
it could go. I'm trying to tell my wife too, again. Right? Like, we're high now, and like she's very excited about it too. But I'm like, you realize, like, even if we drop to like 20 cents, I'm holding. Like, I'm not, like, I've been burned too many times trying to trade. At this point, my only goal is to see the number of ADA I own go up, and I'm not interested in swing trading. And that actually, this is my advice for other people considering starting a pool. Putting all your ADA into pledge is a really good disincentive to trading. Like, if you're weak and you're like, oh, I should sell out, kind of thing. Like, if like I made a commitment to the delegators, and the money's there, and I just like to see that number keep going up, and I think it's more of a it doesn't really affect your reward so much until you get to like 20 million pledge or something like that. But I do think it helps you in the rankings when you're sorted, right? That kind of thing. If you have higher pledge, which Do you want to close on that? Maybe these
sure.
this K change to 1,000 and the AO A naught. You remember
sure,
that?
We can close on that.
I think there's also an IOHK blog post. I think if
I'm not sure. I don't think there was a post to that.
Go to IOHK's blog. We can just read it directly from there, and we'll have that be the last kind of.
What's the blog post?
I think it was March 4th or March 5th of this year.
BABEL fees, by the way, are absolutely
yes.
I'm so looking forward to like having my stake pool transact in BABEL coins.
Yeah. You've got some prime real estate on the market. Let me see if I can find it. I thought it was over there. IOHK blog.
I don't think there was one recently.
I just read it, man. Yeah, so scroll up. It's the top post on page 1, not long till D = 0 day.
Oh, it's the D = 0 day?
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
I think this is the one where they also talk about K parameter, and they're not making the yeah. So this is the post.
I see.
Have you read this one yet? No. So this is a pretty good post, and I actually I retweeted a segment of it where they explicitly say the point of changing K to 1,000 is to encourage flow of stake from large multi-pool to single or smaller pools, right? And that's one of the reasons I joined Charles's AMA, back when the first drama around this thing was happening, was to try to get IOHK to make a direct comment on this. But they basically talk about that, like, if they raise K to 1,000 now, they don't think it will actually have a great effect on the network because of pool splitting and this kind of thing. Like, that's not the intended desire. And I'm totally fine with people doing whatever they have the freedom to do. Like, that's not what it's about. But I thought it was actually very good that they reconsidered changing K to 1,000 until they're basically talking about making some changes to pledge, which they say will increase the rewards of everyone, from the current where we're at now. Like, no matter what your pledge is after they make the changes, you should be getting more rewards than you do now. But somehow it will still kind of disincentivize pool splitting and incentivize aggregation of stake. So I don't know if that's like a curved kind of system or what, but they didn't go into much more detail on that part. But I recommend reading this blog post and then maybe get back to me after. It's actually a pretty good post, and I don't think it's too abstract. And sometimes that Agelios guy, the chief scientist, can be very, like a macro level kind of thing. But this is a little bit more close to the atmosphere and or even the Earth. So I think that's
I'm still very skeptical of changing the influence of pledge.
Because you're worried about big guys with lots of pledge dominating.
Yeah, and I think it's gonna come either way. To be honest, I think we, like, most of the small stake pools that are currently running are gonna die in the next few years, because simply if the price rises and it becomes really financially incentivized, like at the moment, we can earn quite a bit of money with the stake pools. At least for me, like, I could theoretically live off that at the moment, but it's not enough to have like real commercial incentive. But imagine the price rising to like €5 or €10 or something like that, or dollars, and then big companies could come in and they could start stake pools, or even just random big YouTubers. Like, imagine a PewDiePie or someone running a stake pool with millions of followers. Like, they would get it filled in a few days.
Multiple filled within a few days, based on, like, that I don't know about you, but that's the very interesting thing to me. Like, some of my real life friends have found my YouTube channel, and like they're trying to give me tips on YouTube, which I understand I'm a very bad YouTuber because I put out hour or 2 hour long live streams of nothing. But I try to explain to them, like, I think the Cardano YouTube game is actually quite different than normal YouTube game, because kind of like what you just said, like, I earn almost $2,000 a month from my pool now, and I have 100 YouTube subscribers, and
yeah, it's incredible.
Right, like 38 or 28 Delegate. Like you don't need a lot to. Of course, I'm lucky that I have a one big whale kind of thing, but I feel like the economics of a YouTube channel for a Cardano stake pool are much more lucrative than a normal similarly sized YouTube channel. Like I think anything
Absolutely.
under a couple thousand YouTube subs is meaningless, basically, right? To YouTube from that
Absolutely,
perspective.
yeah.
But you look at a lot of these, I don't know, like ADA Angels and all these other people, right? Like they have a couple, like tens of millions of ADA in their pools thanks to their YouTube channels, from my perspective, right? And they only need like a couple hundred subscribers on YouTube, so it's kind of crazy when I've never thought about it what you just said, but like if someone like PewDiePie went in, like they could probably get like the entire ADA ecosystem staking PewDiePie.
Yeah, and aren't you really surprised that Charles Poole doesn't have a lot of ADA staked?
Yeah,
like,
I'm actually pretty happy about that. I was like, really, Charles? What's it got? A couple million? I'll tell you one thing. I was super happy that he ran it on a Raspberry Pi.
Yeah, that's
right.
Very cool.
That was good, because that's like super evidence of like the bullshit of like high spec Threadripper system with GPUs or whatever kind of thing, right? Like you don't need, you're doing it wrong. I was happy about that.
It's so weird. I mean, he has 6.4 million active stake, right? That's like nothing.
Yeah, that's like Babel, man. Babel's got like 5, right? Like
yeah. And I mean, he mentioned it in his AMAs, and yesterday, like 5,000 people were watching, and then he tweets about it, and he has like over 100,000 followers, and it's really weird.
Yeah, I would have thought this would have saturated. The fee could be it.
The fee.
I have a theory on this. Can you click it? Yeah. Go to pool details. I think this is just Sam. Can you scroll to the left? Can you see his metadata registration? Because your window is being cut off a little bit. Maybe.
What?
How do we? We'll do it this way. I think this way works. Okay. It's good now. Can you scroll up? I think. Isn't there usually like your tagline at the top? Like when I go to Monad, I see like my little metadata transaction. His used to say like pool run by Charles Hoskinson and Samuel Leathers, or what is that guy's name? Yeah, maybe in here.
ADA pools.
You spying on me? I saw Monad in the autocomplete down there.
Yeah, you're always my example.
It's okay. Okay, I use you and someone else too sometimes. So
ADA pools is not running very smoothly.
Rats Pool run by Charles Hoskinson and Samuel Leathers. Samuel Leathers is in the he's the guy who hangs out in the Telegram stake pool operator community. So if I had 2 cents, I'd guess that Sam made a pitch to Charles saying, "Hey, can I run a pool for you? And I'll give you like half of the revenue." Not that Charles needs it at all, right? But I can't imagine Charles wasting any of his time in the operation of a stake pool. You know what I'm saying?
I think he's doing some. I mean, maybe not in the.
You mean like a eat your own dog food kind of thing
and stuff? But I think he set it up himself.
Really?
Yeah.
You think that's like a eat your own dog food kind of thing? Like understand what's going on in the ecosystem? That makes sense.
And he's just excited for it, and he wants to see if it's possible with the Raspberry Pis and stuff. And like, I mean, if I would have developed a protocol like that.
Yeah, I guess you'd kind of want to have your own copy of it, right? Your own instantiation of the thing. That makes sense.
Yeah, but he might not be upgrading the nodes. And
yeah. So that's kind of what I meant. I assume Sam is handling the operations and everything, because Sam is pretty active in the Telegram community for the Cardano stake pool operators Telegram chat. Whenever someone mentions him, he does reply and get back and talks about stuff. He's a big fan. Just to give him props, and I'll try to convert you too. He's a big fan of Nix OS and the Nix package manager. Have you played with that at all?
No, I haven't. I've seen your Twitter.
Yeah. So just
I googled it, but yeah.
So Nix is super cool because you have like a single file that's declaratively kind of set up, and you can basically deploy a Linux system set up exactly how you want to, like just with that one file, basically, right? So it's kind of like
cool.
Docker, but it's kind of not. And the example that I'll give is like if you were to like install Ubuntu on a system, right? Then like you want to set up the firewall rules, and then you want to do this other stuff, and you want to set up fail to ban or all this other kind of stuff. Like there's a bunch of stateful stuff that you have to do, right?
To you can write that in that file and then
in Ansible,
make another server.
Yeah, exactly. This can all be done, and the cool thing is too is like you can roll back and a bunch of other stuff. I'm always messing around with CUDA drivers and different stuff like that for my day job, where I'm like training ML models, and it's super nice that like I can't break my system because it writes into Grub like a boot entry every time you make a change, so I can roll back like to the previous generation. Because that's everything is set up. I'll talk with you sometime about it sometime off stream, because it's quite fun and quite cool. So thank you, everybody. We still have some people who are watching. I don't know why. It might just be me actually and you with the YouTube stream open in the background. But
I think so.
maybe somebody's watching this. It could be my wife. So
it's okay.
Thank you so much for joining, Patrick. I had a lot of fun talking about this stuff. I like this a lot better than doing it solo. So I think this. I'm happy to, if you want to do this next time, make this a thing on Babel, or I think you make higher quality content than me. You actually make videos.
Really. So I thought about doing live streams too, but I said I'm only starting after 100 subscribers, because before then I'm
you don't like talking to yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
I have no problem with that. So anyways. Yeah, cheers, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate you being in chat all the time, and it was really cool to talk to you. I like being able to kind of bounce back and forth and get your take on things too. So it was interesting. Oh, Nostradamus is there. Yes. Thank you everyone for you. Basically made it so that Patrick and I aren't insane using a global video streaming platform to talk to ourselves. Thank you, Nostradamus. Yeah, you guys have a good night. I finished my beer, so.
Good night.
I'm done. Thank you again. Peace out.